My name is Emily, and 10 years ago I ran from my family after they broke me in ways I still can't say out loud. Last week, I walked into my sister's wedding unannounced. No one recognized me, neither my face, nor the woman I became. But karma recognized every single one of them. My name is Emily, and I can still hear the sound of my mother's voice slicing through the hallway the night everything shattered. "Why would you do something so stupid?" she yelled, waving the torn edges of my college acceptance letter like proof of a crime. "I didn't tear it," I said, gripping the wall because my legs wouldn't stop shaking. "I would never do that." Chloe crossed her arms and smirked at me. "Mom, she's lying again. I found the pieces in her room. She said she didn't want to go anymore." "I never said that." My voice cracked, and the humiliation burned my throat. "Chloe, you took it. Just tell the truth." "Seriously? You're blaming me now," she said, laughing. "You're unbelievable." My mother turned toward me, her face tight with rage. "You've embarrassed us for years, Emily. This is just another stunt." "It wasn't me," I whispered, but she talked over me. "Enough. I'm done listening to excuses." I looked at my father. "Dad, please. You know I didn't do this." He rubbed his forehead and muttered, "Let's not do this tonight." "So you're not even going to say anything?" I asked. He didn't answer. Something inside me twisted so painfully I thought I would collapse. Chloe leaned in close and whispered, "Maybe college isn't for everyone, Em. Some people aren't meant for big things." I stepped back. "Why are you doing this to me?" She shrugged. "Because it's easy." My mother threw the shredded papers on the table. "Clean this up and get out of my sight." I didn't. I started again. I said get out. Her voice hit me harder than any slap could. I backed away, heart pounding, tears blurring everything. In my room, I shut the door and slid down to the floor, pressing my hands to my face. Why does she hate me so much? I whispered to no one. From downstairs, I heard Chloe laughing. My father saying nothing. My mother ranting about ungrateful children. I felt something unraveling inside me, something I knew I couldn't repair if I stayed. "I can't do this anymore," I whispered to myself. "I can't survive here." I grabbed my backpack and shoved in whatever I could find: 2 shirts, my charger, a notebook. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped half of it. I looked for my sneakers, but Chloe had taken them earlier that week after one of her petty fights. All I found were thin socks. "I'll manage," I said, even though the words sounded hollow. I quietly opened the window because I couldn't walk past them again. Cold air slapped my face as I climbed out. My foot hit the ground, and the shock of the freezing pavement almost made me cry again. "This is it," I whispered. "I'm done." I started walking down the street, barefoot, numb. The porch light flicked on behind me, but I didn't look back. If I did, I knew I'd run upstairs and hide again. Cars passed me, but I kept my eyes down. My toes were going numb from the cold. Tears kept falling even when I tried to stop them. A voice suddenly called out, "Hey, are you okay?" I froze. A guy around my age stepped out from behind a small convenience store. He wore a hoodie and looked genuinely worried. "I'm fine," I said quickly, wiping my face. "You don't look fine," he replied, walking closer but not too close. "Are you hurt?" "No," I whispered. "Just leaving." "In the middle of the night? Without shoes?" he asked gently. I looked at my feet. I didn't have time to find them. He frowned. "Did something happen?" I swallowed hard. "Yeah. But I don't want to talk about it." He nodded. "That's okay. You don't have to tell me anything. I just want to make sure you're safe." I laughed bitterly. "Safe? I don't think I've ever been safe." He stepped back slightly, giving me space. "Do you need somewhere warm to sit? There's a bench under the light. I can stay a few feet away if you want." The offer made my throat tighten. "Why are you being nice to me?" "Because you look like you need someone to be," he said simply. "My name's Ethan." "I'm Emily," I murmured. He smiled a little. "Nice to meet you, Emily, even if the circumstances kinda suck." I let out a shaky breath. "You have no idea." He pointed at the bench. "Come on. Just sit for a minute. You're shaking. I'm fine, I argued, but my voice wobbled. Your lips are blue, he said. That's usually the opposite of fine. He was right. I was freezing. I walked to the bench and sat down, hugging myself. Ethan stayed a few feet away like he promised. Is someone looking for you? No, I said, staring at the ground. No one cares enough to. He hesitated. Should I call someone? Please don't, I said quickly. I just need to not be there anymore. Okay, he said quietly. I won't. I closed my eyes and whispered, I think they're glad I left. He didn't rush me, didn't push for details. He just said, then they don't deserve you. I let out a soft, broken laugh. I don't think anyone does. That's not true, he said. You just met the wrong people. I looked at him for the first time. Why do you care? Because I know what it's like to walk away with nothing, he said. And I know what it's like to need someone to just sit there and not judge. Silence settled between us, but it wasn't heavy. It felt like breathing for the first time in hours. What do I do now? I whispered. You start by not freezing, he said gently. Then, you figure out the rest one step at a time. I stared at my trembling hands. I don't know if I'm strong enough. He shook his head. You walked barefoot into the night. You're stronger than you think. For the first time, I let myself believe he might be right. Somewhere inside the broken pieces of me, something small and stubborn sparked, maybe hope, maybe courage, maybe just exhaustion. But it was there. And that night, sitting next to a stranger who showed me more kindness than my family ever had, I realized I wasn't going back. Not ever. I didn't become stronger overnight. It took years of scraping myself together in tiny pieces. I told Ethan that once, and he just smiled at me like he understood everything I wasn't brave enough to say. He usually did. Most nights I came home exhausted from juggling 2 jobs, and he'd ask, "Did you eat anything today?" "Coffee counts," I'd answer, dropping my bag on the floor. "No," he'd say, shaking his head. "You need actual food." "Food is expensive," I'd remind him. "So is therapy," he'd reply. "But you still need both." I laughed the first time he said it, even though nothing felt funny then. I can barely afford rent. Therapy isn't happening. He leaned back in his chair. You should still try. You can't keep everything inside forever. I have to, I said. Talking makes it real. It was real before you talked about it. I didn't know how to argue with that. Years slipped by like that. Work, sleep, repeat. Always moving but never healing. I told myself I was fine. I wasn't. I learned how not fine I was the night I woke up gasping, convinced my mother was standing over me screaming again. Ethan heard me from the hallway and rushed in. "Emily, breathe," he said, kneeling beside me. "I can't," I choked out. "She's still in my head. She won't shut up. She can't hurt you now. But she still does." I grabbed my hair with shaking hands. "Why can't I make it stop?" He waited until I calmed down. Then he said softly, "That's why therapy matters." I hated that he was right. I hated needing help at all. But the nightmare left something burning inside me, something I couldn't ignore anymore. The next morning, he sat across from me at breakfast. "You should call the clinic." "I don't want to talk about them," I said. "You already do," he pointed out. "You talk about them every time you can't sleep." I stared at my coffee. What if therapy makes everything worse? What if it makes things better? I hated that question even more. Eventually, I gave in. Therapy wasn't magic, but it cracked a tiny window in the dark place I'd been living in. My therapist asked questions no one had ever asked me. She said things like, "You were a child trying to survive, and their cruelty doesn't define your value." I didn't believe her, but sometimes the words stuck with me on the bus ride home. During that time, Ethan dragged me to a gym. "You need to hit something," he said. "Trust me. It helps." "I'm not punching anything," I told him. "Then try the bag. It won't hit back." I rolled my eyes, but I tried it. The first hit hurt. The second hit stung. The third hit cracked something open inside me. I kept hitting until sweat dripped into my eyes and my arms ached. Ethan watched from a distance. Feel better? No, I panted. But I feel something. That's a start, he said. I went back every day. Not because I loved it but because I needed it. Training didn't erase my past, but it made me feel less helpless, more in control. Stronger in ways I didn't recognize yet. That's where I met Maya. She showed up one night while I was struggling with the wraps on my hands. You're doing it wrong, she said. I figured, I sighed. Here, she said, grabbing the ends gently. Let me show you. I watched her wrap my hands with quick, practiced movements. Thanks, I murmured. No problem, she replied. You look like you're here to fight something. Maybe I am. She nodded. Same. That was the beginning of our strange friendship. She was loud where I was quiet. Confident where I was hesitant. Every time I flinched at loud noises or jumped at sudden movements, she didn't ask questions. She just said, someone messed with you. We'll fix that. One night after training, she asked, so who hurt you? I shook my head. I don't talk about them. You will when you're ready, she said. But I can tell whatever happened was heavy. Yeah, I admitted softly. It was. She looked at me thoughtfully. Then you're stronger than you think. People don't survive things like that by accident. Her words lingered for days. Still, every time I heard the name Chloe, my stomach twisted. She appeared on social media all the time, graduations, vacations, fancy photo shoots. I'd stare at her perfect smile, her perfect life, and whisper, did I really matter so little that they forgot me this easily? One night, after I closed my shift, Ethan found me scrolling again. You know that's poison, he said. I just want to understand, I whispered. How she got everything. And I got nothing. You didn't get nothing, he replied. You got scars. And scars mean you survived something they couldn't. I set my phone down. I'm tired of surviving. Then become someone they can't destroy, he said. Something in me shifted. Someone new. Someone stronger, he said. And that night, I decided I would. I wouldn't be the girl they threw away anymore. I found the invitation by accident. I only opened that old email because I needed a verification code, and there it was, Chloe's wedding announcement. I stared at the screen and whispered, "You've got to be kidding me." Ethan walked in and asked, "Why do you look like you saw a ghost?" "I think I did," I said. "My sister's getting married." He blinked. "Chloe? The Chloe?" "Yeah. And she invited me, accidentally, I guess." "Are you going?" he asked. "I don't know," I said. Part of me wants to delete it. Part of me wants to walk in and watch their jaws hit the floor. "That second part sounds fun," he said. I let out a shaky laugh. "It also sounds terrifying." Maya barged in a few minutes later, because she never knocked. "Why are you two staring at the laptop like it's about to explode?" I turned it toward her. "My sister's wedding." She screamed so loudly Ethan covered his ears. "Oh my God, you have to go." "I really don't," I argued. "You absolutely do," she said. "You show up looking like the woman you became, not the girl they destroyed." I exhaled slowly. What if seeing them breaks me again? Maya grabbed my shoulders. "Emily, you train every day. You survived hell. They don't get to break you anymore." Ethan nodded. "Whatever happens, I'm proud of you." Those words sat in my chest for days. On the fourth night, I finally whispered to myself, "I'm going." Maya dragged me dress shopping the next morning. She shoved a black dress into my hands and said, "Try it." I stepped out of the fitting room in it, and she froze. "Holy crap," she said. "You look like you own every room you walk into." I turned to the mirror. I didn't recognize the woman staring back. "Is that really me?" "It's the you you've worked to become," Maya said. Even Ethan blushed when he saw the dress later. "Wow," he whispered. "They won't know what hit them." The day of the wedding came faster than I expected. I stood in front of the mirror again, smoothing the fabric, trying to steady my breathing. "You can do this," I told my reflection. Maya hugged me tight. "Text me if you need backup." "I'll be fine," I said, even though my pulse was racing. When I arrived at the venue, music drifted through the air, soft and elegant. The building was huge, the kind of place people used to remind me I'd never belong in. I walked through the doors, and for a moment I froze. Guests laughed, drank champagne, took pictures. I felt like an intruder. Then I heard my mother's voice. "We need the florist to fix the arch. It's crooked." My stomach twisted, but I forced myself to walk forward. She looked right at me, and her eyes slid past like I was nobody. My father walked by next, adjusting his tie. He brushed my arm accidentally and murmured, "Excuse me, miss." "Miss." He called me miss. I swallowed hard. "Okay," I whispered. Guess I changed more than I thought. I kept walking, scanning the crowd. My heartbeat thundered when I saw her, Chloe, in her bridal robe, laughing with her bridesmaids. I stepped closer, almost against my will. She turned, looked straight at me, and then looked away without hesitation. Not even a flicker of recognition. For a second, something inside me cracked. Then something else, something stronger, settled into place. Maya was right. They didn't get to break me anymore. I approached the refreshment table and grabbed a glass of water. A woman next to me smiled. "You look stunning," she said. "Are you from the groom's side?" "I guess you could say that," I replied. "Great dress," she added. "Thanks," I said, letting the confidence settle into my posture. I wandered to the back of the room, staying close to the exit in case panic hit me. Every time I heard my parents' voices, my chest tightened. But I took slow breaths, reminding myself, they don't control me now. I was sipping my water when a man approached me. "Hi," he said. "I haven't seen you before." He was tall, charming, and nervous in a way that didn't match the party around us. "Just arrived," I said. "I'm Tyler," he said, offering his hand. "The groom." My heart stopped. "You're marrying Chloe?" He nodded. "Yeah. And you are?" "Emily," I answered carefully. His eyes widened slightly. "Emily, her sister?" "That's me." He exhaled slowly. "I was hoping you'd show up." I stared at him. "Why?" He glanced toward Chloe. "Let's just say, I've heard things. And I wanted to see for myself who you were." I crossed my arms. "And what do you think?" He smiled gently. "I think you're not the girl they told me about." I wasn't sure what to say. He leaned in a little. "They don't recognize you, do they?" "No," I said softly. "Not even a little." "Well," he said, "maybe that's a good thing." "Why?" I asked. "So you can watch the show from the front row," he replied quietly. "Because something tells me today's going to get interesting." My pulse quickened. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel scared. I felt ready. I told myself I would leave before anything exploded, but something rooted me in place. Maybe curiosity. Maybe anger. Maybe the part of me that wanted to know if they still had the power to ruin me. Tyler found me first. "There you are," he said, lowering his voice. "Did she see you yet?" "No," I said. "Not really." "She will in a minute," he replied. "Stay close." "Why?" I asked. "Because things are about to get messy." Before I could respond, Chloe stepped out from behind a row of guests. Her eyes drifted across the room, then landed on me. She went pale instantly. "Emily," she whispered. I held her gaze. "Hi, Chloe." My mother spun around. "Emily." Her voice cracked. "Is that really you?" My father muttered my name like it physically hurt him. "Emily, what are you doing here?" I raised an eyebrow. "It's a wedding. I was invited." Chloe shook her head. "No, you weren't. You can't just show up." Tyler moved beside me. "Actually, she can." My mother's eyes narrowed. "Tyler, what is she doing near you?" He folded his arms. "We need to talk." Chloe snapped, "Not now. We have a ceremony." "No," he said, louder. "We're not doing anything until the truth comes out." My stomach dropped. "What truth?" Tyler looked at me. "Do you want to hear it with them, or somewhere private?" "I'm not hiding anymore," I said. "Say it." He nodded. "Fine. He faced Chloe. Tell them who you slept with. Chloe gasped. Tyler. Not here. Here is perfect, he said. Since your parents begged me to keep quiet. My mother hissed. Lower your voice. No, he said sharply. Emily deserves to hear this. I felt the room tilting. What does this have to do with me? Tyler turned to me. When I found out she cheated, I asked why her family protected her so fiercely. That's when your parents told me, they've been covering for her for years. My mother snapped, stop twisting things. He raised a hand. They told me you were unstable. They said you caused problems. They said you left because you couldn't handle responsibility. My throat tightened. They said that. Yes, he said. And then I found out the truth from someone Chloe fought with. She bragged about destroying your acceptance letter. She laughed about it. Chloe's voice shook. Tyler, please. No, he said. You lied to everyone. You let them throw your sister away. My mother grabbed Chloe's arm. Stop listening to him. He's exaggerating. Then explain this, Tyler said, pointing at Chloe. She begged me not to tell anyone she cheated. And you both told me to protect the family image. I watched them flail, argue, blame each other. Something inside me finally snapped into place. My mother glared at me. You're loving this, aren't you? No, I said quietly. I just don't feel small anymore. Chloe burst into tears. Emily, please don't let him ruin everything. I stared at her. You ruined it. Tyler exhaled. I'm calling off the wedding. Gasps filled the room. My father reached for me. Emily, wait. I stepped back. You don't get to talk to me now. He froze. I turned toward the exit, my heartbeat steady for once. Tyler called after me, Emily, thank you for standing here. I didn't do anything, I said. You existed, he replied. And that was enough to bring the truth out. I walked away from all of them, my head high, my chest light. For the first time in my life, I wasn't the girl they erased. I was the woman who walked away whole. I sat in my car for a long time after leaving the wedding. My hands shook so badly I had to grip the steering wheel to steady myself. I whispered, why am I shaking? It's over. But my body buzzed like it didn't believe me. My phone rang. Ethan. I answered with a shaky breath. Hey. Emily. Are you safe? He asked immediately. Yeah, I said. I'm in my car. How do you feel? I closed my eyes. Free. The word surprised me. I thought I'd feel guilty or something. But I don't. He let out a relieved sigh. Good. Because you didn't do anything wrong. I know, I whispered. For once, I really know. What happened? He asked gently. Everything, I said, laughing softly. They saw me. They recognized me. They blamed me. They fell apart. And I didn't. You sound lighter, he said. I feel like I finally came home to myself, I replied. Like I'm not dragging their voices around anymore. He paused. I'm proud of you, Emily. Those words warmed something deep inside me. Thank you, I whispered. Come home, he said. I made dinner. You should eat something. I will, I said. Just, give me a minute. After I hung up, I leaned my head against the seat. I whispered to the girl I used to be, you made it. And something in me finally loosened. The next few weeks were strange. Chloe called first. I let it ring. She texted next. Please talk to me. I need to explain. I didn't answer. My mother sent a long message about how I ruined a sacred day. I deleted it. My father wrote, your mother is upset. Please apologize so this can end. I blocked his number. Ethan asked, you okay ignoring all of them? Yeah, I said. Because I'm not ignoring them out of anger. I'm ignoring them because it's the only way to stay whole. He nodded. That's growth. Maya demanded details. Did they cry? Did Chloe collapse? Did the cake fall? I laughed. No cake tragedies. But the emotional mess was enough. She grinned. Good. They finally got a taste of what they put you through. Maybe, I said. But I'm not celebrating their pain. Why not? She asked. Because I don't need revenge, I replied. I just need peace. She studied me for a moment. You're different now. I know, I said. I feel it. I started waking up without dread. That was new. I trained more, worked less, breathed deeper. One night, I found myself smiling for no reason. Ethan noticed. You look happy, he said. I think I am, I answered. What changed? Me, I said simply. He nodded. So what now? I live, I said. Without them. Without fear. Without begging for love that was never real. He smiled softly. I always knew you'd get here. I shrugged. I didn't. Well, he said, welcome to the version of you that deserves everything. I felt tears building, but not the painful kind. I like her, I whispered. You should, he said. She fought hard to exist. I looked at my reflection in the window beside us. My eyes looked steadier. My shoulders looser. My heart lighter. I became someone I can be proud of, I said. And for the first time in my life, I truly meant it.